If you are a trading or distribution business running a small, medium, or a large enterprise which deals with pumps, motors, flanges, valves, sensors, hydraulic hoses, tubes, or any engineering goods or industrial spare, and you're running your business on a basic accounting software and Excel spreadsheets, then chances are that you're firefighting in your business. You're firefighting your stock mismatches or excessive stocks, chasing vendors on the deliveries, or on the other side, customers on the payments, losing track of your receivables. Does what all issues I said sound familiar to you? Hi, my name is Raman and I'm from a company called Emerging Alliance, and certified SAP channel partner who has been implementing SAP for trading and distribution companies globally. We help companies unlock growth and operational efficiencies using ERP systems like SAP. In my experience of working with more than 500 plus companies across 40 different verticals, I have come across a lot of successful implementations at the same time, not to mention failures too. I'm going to compress my 25 years of experience in giving you a live demo of how a trading and distribution company can be run on SAP Business One. Through this video, you will not only learn how SAP Business One works, but also how SAP Business One solves real-world problems, real business problems for trading companies in your space. As I said, I will walk you through a complete live demo of how an engineering goods and industrial spares trading company is run on SAP Business One. And guess what? This demo has been customized and tailor made for the industry. Please make sure that you have a handwritten note or you note down all the valuable points that you get to see in this particular video. Fine then, let's get started. Let's now get started off with the SAP B1 HANA screen. What you see on the screen right now is the most advanced HANA dashboard from SAP Business One. So you can see that there are multiple boxes available on the dashboard. So these boxes can be categorized into 4 types. One is called as the traffic light box, wherein the company can set up any kind of target. Okay, and the target can be at a company level or at an department head level or an individual level. And if the target is being achieved, it will show in green. If it is being like the one on the right hand side, like here, okay, so this is being achieved, so it is showing in green, whereas the one which is showing in red is not achieved, so it is showing in red. So you can get the traffic light of red, green, yellow. So that's the first type of dashboard. The second type of dashboard is a number based dashboard. You can see here in blue representation like 147, 79, 152. Now these are something which is called as open item list, or where SAP Business One is reminding the user that what is his pending activities. For example, let's say that I'm an user using SAP in finance and I have sent out invoices to the customer which has not been paid. So this 152 is basically the number of invoices that I need to follow up with the customers and close. So this is just not a number. If you click on this box, it basically opens the entire list of 152 invoices which are to the customer, and it's just not those lists. I can click on one of the invoices to exactly go to the invoice. As you can see here, I'm clicking on one of the invoices. So it has gone to the invoice now. So this is the second type of dashboard, a number based dashboard where SAP kind of reminds the user what is his pending activity. So I can have list of invoices pending needs to be followed up, list of purchase order pending, list of accounts payable invoice pending which needs to be paid to the supplier, list of quotations. All of this can be set over here. The third type of dashboard is basically workflow dashboards or process dashboards, wherein if a user is working on 2 or 3 processes, then the list of processes along with a diagram or a flow chart can be made. So the user doesn't have to be confused. He can follow this process flow. And if he is working specifically on a particular process, sub-process, like let's say that he's working on a sale order, then he can go and click on the list sale order, which will directly go to the screen. So the user doesn't have to remember the T codes, or the user doesn't have to remember the menu path. More advanced, in sales order, if there are any reports that he needs to, all those reports can be stored over here, so that with regards to sale order, whatever are the details that he needs to access can be available over here. For example, I'm clicking on open sale order, and you can see that it opens the list of sale order for specific for that particular user. So pretty intuitive and friendly dashboards. And the fourth and the final type of dashboards are graphical dashboards. As you can see on the left, you can create your own graph. Might they be line chart or bar diagrams or pie charts. So any kind of information you want to see it as graphical representation can also be had over here. So I can show you some examples here. Now, apart from that, you also have something called as a common function. Now, what is common function, which is kept in the dashboard? This is nothing but if you think an user basically has an access to about 15 or 20 features or screens in SAP, then those screens can be stored over here, which is kind of reduces this time to go on access. So any kind of features or screens, any type of reports, these are something like a desktop shortcuts. So you can have it over here, click on those and it will go to that respective screen. Like I'm clicking on the purchase order and taking me to the purchase order screen. So that's all about the dashboard. So it's an excellent dashboard which gives you access to the traffic light charts, whether your KPIs have been achieved or not, which is basically shown in red, green and yellow. Second one, number-based dashboards, which basically gives the user reminder on what are the list of activities by count that they will have to do. Then you have the process flow dashboard where the user is guided of doing the activity, and finally a graphical dashboard, which is pretty common across many other softwares too. Now that I have explained the dashboard, I'll just open the menu which is available on the left hand side here, and you can see all the features and functionalities and all the modules available in SAP available on the left hand side here. I can click on one of those to expand them, like I'm clicking on sales, and you can see all the features and functionalities available under sales. And before we get into the transactions, I would take some time to explain the master creation. So there are 4 basic masters available in SAP. The business partner master, which basically has the supplier and the customer master. And then you have an item master, which is the item code creation. And then you have the asset master and finally the GL master. We'll not go into the asset and GL master, but first I will show you how is an item master created. So I'm clicking here. So as you see, I have created an item master for you, specific for this particular demo. And as you see, the item that has been created is a pump, which is a 3 horsepower pump, 100 LPM. What is very key in the item master is the code, because the code once created cannot be edited or changed, and this stays for life. And you can have other details, right? In this, I have created a serial number identification, which means that if there is warranty and guarantee associated with this particular part, it is applicable here. So I have created a serial number and batch number identification here. On the right hand side, other details like the HSN code, GST, all those can be mapped. I come to the purchasing data. Here basically I can say what is the unit of measure in which I will buy this particular pump. So it is going to be numbers, straightforward. You might have complicated items which you might buy in lengths, you might buy in kgs, weight, volume and stuff like that. So you have the purchasing data. Then you have the sales data also, which is in what unit of measure you would want to sell this. So sometimes you might buy in dozens and sell in pieces. Sometimes you might buy in huge lengths and you might cut and sell them in pieces. So that's why you have 2 different tabs, one for capturing the purchasing data, the other for capturing the sales data. And then other things are pretty technical, which we will see when we go into the demo. And you can also add the image into the item master data. The beauty of adding this image here is you can get this image in various kind of reports, and if you're creating this invoice and sending it to the customer, you want this image to come into the invoice, it can also be done. And if there's anything specific to this particular motor which you want to keep it in the master as attachment, like Might it be the specification of the motor or the brochure of the motor, and you want everyone to follow the same specification, you can have it as an attachment over here. SAP has a full-fledged DMS, document management system, wherein every screen can hold an attachment. That's the item master data for you. I'll also quickly show you the BP master, which is the customer master. Now what you see in front of you is a customer master where you can see the code of the customer, the name of the customer is created. If you want, you can create a grouping for the customer and what is the currency in which you trade with this customer. On the right hand side, you can see what is the outstanding order with this customer, what is the outstanding deliveries for the customer, what is the outstanding account balance for the customer. These are not just numbers. You can click on one of those to get the complete list of the account balance. So you can see that there are a lot of drill down functionalities available in SAP. Then there are multiple tabs available. You can see the first tab is a general tab where you can enter the details of the customer in terms of their contacts, their location, their territory and stuff like that. Then you have more details, like if you want to add more contacts, they can be added. So you can have n number of contacts created for one customer. Then I take you to the address. So you can have one single customer with multiple addresses. Now with different addresses comes the GST provision. So if they are available in different states, based on that the GST is taken care. Then the next tab is payment terms. So you can basically set the payment terms as 30 days, 60 days, 90 days or cash advance and stuff like that. Now if there is any specific attachment or document that you want to maintain with regards to this customer, they can be stored over here. Most of our customers do store the trade license copies of the customer, the GST certificates of the business partners, or anything which is specific to a particular customer they don't want to lose, they can store it over here in the attachment. Now that we have created the customer master as well as the item master, so we have the customer and item fed into the system. I'm going to show you the entire order to cash and procure to pay cycle. Let me get started off with an inquiry first. So inquiries are basically in the CRM module, and in SAP we call it as opportunities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into opportunity. Let's say that one of our salesperson has gone to a customer and he has shown some interest. So I'm going to create an opportunity. I'm going to choose that customer's name and then name the opportunity on the right hand side here as sample opportunity. And definitely this opportunity is going to have some kind of value. So let's say that the opportunity is a value for 100. I'm just going to enter the 100 value here. And I can even say what is the level of interest, like high, medium, low, or I can define anything on my own. So I'm going to enter high here. In second tab, general, I have a free remark available over here. So basically you can copy paste anything. Let's say that you have an email communication which you want to be stored over here. You can copy and paste the email here. Or if there are any notes that you have taken with regards to your discussion, you can even create it over here. Apart from that, you can see on the right hand side, I have data like how do I get to know this particular customer. So information source, I can add any information source, let's say Google. So I can add anything over here. And if there's any industry for this particular customer or prospect, I can even add that here. The next one is pretty critical. So it is stages. So your company can have multiple stages, like stage 1 can be your inquiry stage, stage 2 can be your quotation stage, and stage 3 can be finalization. This is basically to ensure that if you want to understand your inquiry or your opportunities in which stage, you can build those stages. I'm going to choose my first stage, which is the inquiry stage. And then I go to the next tab, which is competitors. If you think this particular inquiry has got some competitors, you can even enter the name of those competitors here. For example, let's say that I have some competitors which I have fed into my system. I choose them. And I can also say what is the threat level, whether they are high threat level, low, I'm going to say high. And I can say they have quoted 50 rupees. So you can enter any remarks. And in case this inquiry is lost to one of your competitors, you can see on the right hand side, there's a 1 button, you can click that. So the system keeps a track of how many inquiries have been lost to your competitors and who are those. You can also create and report out of this, like who are the competitors to whom you are losing your inquiries to. The next one is basically a summary tab, wherein if the opportunity is 1, currently you can see that it is in an open stage. If it is 1, you can hit on 1. If it is lost, then if you hit on lost, it will basically ask you, like I'm going to choose lost here. It basically will ask you the reason for lost. If you pre-feed the system with 4 or 5 reasons, like price might be one reason, probably not available in the system might be one reason, and so on. So you can have like 4 or 5 predefined reasons which you can give, so that the system can record those reasons. And finally, over a period of a year or 6 months or a quarter, you can ask the system how many inquiries were lost and for what reasons they were lost. It will generate a report for you. You can even mandate these stuff so that the salespeople have to choose a reason when they lose it, so that you get a report at the end of the quarter or half yearly or a year. So I will switch back to 1 now, because I'm not going to lose this order or this inquiry. And then finally, once again, attachment. As I told you, until now, whatever screen I have tried to explain, I have always shown you a DMS, document management system, or attachment. Here you can go ahead and attach the mail or anything that you have received, a photograph or anything that you have received from this customer. So let's say that I have created the opportunity now. I'm going to add it. Here I go. I'm going to add the opportunity. The opportunity is added now. As soon as you add the opportunity in your system, if you have a separate estimation team or a team which prepares code, they would get a notification. Okay, they can contact the respective salesman and prepare the code. Or if the person who has prepared this opportunity is the one who is going to prepare the code, he can rightly come into this opportunity. Now that I have created the opportunity, I will show you a report where the list of all opportunities created in the company are available. I go into this CRM report, and here you can see the list of opportunity report. I'm going to say OK here. You can see that these are the list of opportunities that have been created, and you can see it has got the opportunity document number, who is the customer or the prospect for whom the opportunity has been created, who is the salesperson who is handling that particular opportunity, and you can see the status, which is open, which is won, which is lost. The best part of it is this particular report can be sorted. So as an executive, you would always want to see an opportunity which is of high value and who is dealing it. So I go on the potential amount, I double click it. You can see my high value opportunities are listed at the top. So if you want to see who are the salespeople and who are the customers or prospects who are giving you these opportunities, you can get in this report, and it gives you a full conversion ratio, like how many opportunities were received, how many were lost, how many were won, and how many is still in open. So it gives you a complete perspective. You also have a lot of other reports. I'm not going to go into it because it will be time consuming, but this is one key report which the executive management can have a look at the end of the month or the end of the period. Now I'll go back to the same opportunity that I've created. Well, this was the opportunity that I created. I go into stages. Now, it's not enough if I just create the opportunity. It is time for me to quote. So as you can see, I am using my opportunity screen to create the quote. I go to the second stage. I say quotation. And then from here, I can create a new quote. So I'm going to create a quote from the screen. As you can see, I'm going to create a new quote. Since I have come from the opportunity screen, I don't have to create who is the customer for this particular quote, because it gets created. So I have already created 2 item quotes which I had shown to you. One is a pump. The next one is a pressure gauge. You can see that as soon as I type the item code or the item description, the entire other things comes in. So I'm going to keep 5 quantities each. I'm going to quote 5 quantities each. And the unit of measures that we gave in the item master, which is 5 numbers, is coming. So if you have fed the list price in the item master, it will come up automatically over here. And you can currently see that on the right hand side, it shows that the open quantity is 5. That is, I require 5 quantities, but there's nothing in stock. So I'm going to add this right now. So I go back to the quote once again, which I had created. So this is a quote which is available in your system. This is of no use to your customer. What you need to know is how will it look when it goes to the customer end. So I'll show you the layout of the quote or the format of how the quote looks like. As you can see, this is how the layout looks like. Let me just expand it. So right now we have not prepared, so you can see you can add your logo and the rest of it is pretty standard. Sales quotation, the document number, the date. It also has your company details, the customer details. If you go down further, you can see the details of the item, the quantity that you're quoting, the price. And just to show you what is the decimal capability, I'm showing you that there are up to 4 decimals that I can create, and taxes can be included, the currency can be included. You remember that we had added the picture of the pump and that has been reflected over here. And similarly, I have added the picture of a gauge, and on the left hand side you can see the tax details. On the right hand side you can see quotation, subtotal, taxes and amount. And finally, if there are any additional expenses on shipping, those can be added, as well as payment terms. And if you have something which is standard that you want to declare in terms of payment, in terms of quotation terms and conditions, that can also be added, which can come on the layout every time you print it. Now this quote can go as a PDF format directly to your prospect or your customer. You have a mailing option here at the top. So you can link your SAP Business One to any mail provider through a POP3 service, and might it be a Gmail or an Outlook or any service provider, your SAP Business One can be linked, and this PDF that you saw currently will go to your customer. One thing which is very critical to be noted, all SAP screens do have a maker checker provision. That is, a person A can create it and person B will approve it. So you do have a maker and checker process. Here I have not shown it because I'm doing it all by myself. Otherwise, there would be a separate approvers, and once again, approvers can be a workflow based approval, which is, as I told, A is creating it, B will approve it, C will super approve it, and so on. Or you can have from 0 to 5,000, A can approve it, 5,000 to 50,000, B can approve it, 50,000 plus C has to approve it. So you can have value based approval also. Now that I've created the quotation, I'll quickly go back to my opportunity. You can see that my opportunity basically starts building up here. So on the first date, I basically got the opportunity inquiry. On the second line, I gave a quotation. Let's say in the third line, I got the order. Let's say I negotiated and I finally got the order. I can create the order from this screen. My quotation number is 231, so I'm going to create a new order. And I'm not going to create an order from scratch. I'm going to copy it from the quote which was given by me to the customer. So I'm going to choose 231 and say copy from 231. And you can see that all the data that I had in sales quotation is copied to my sales order. So let's say that I had quoted for 5 numbers, but got a confirmed order for only 4 numbers. So I can change the value here, 4. And let's say that I quoted for 16,000 and the customer negotiated it down to a lesser value, let's say 15,000. I can change that here. I go to logistics tab just to ensure that if there is a different delivery address, I can enter it over here, or if it's the same address as in the master, I can leave it. I go to the accounting tab because I'm creating a sale order confirmation now. If the payment terms are as per the payment terms available in the customer master, I go with it. Or if there's a change in payment term, I can choose the new payment term over here. Let's say that the default was 30 and now I have a new payment term 35. I'm going to choose it here. And finally, in attachment, let us say if the customer has given me a mail where he's confirmed this order, I can have that attached over here in DMS. So I will show you quickly how to attach it. Let's go into browse, and if it is available in my desktop, I can just pick that and attach it. I'm just attaching some random document here, and it'll come over here at any point of time. You can double click it and open it. I'm going ahead and adding it. There you go. My order is created. I go back to my order, which I created now. And once again, as I sent my sales code to my prospect or customer, I can even send the order confirmation, and its output would look something like this. As you can see, this is the PDF output of the order confirmation. You can send this order confirmation as a mail to your customer. I just maximize it and show it to you. So it's got the details. If you want, you can customize it by adding your logo and stuff like that. Coming down, you can see the order confirmation is for the pump, 4 numbers, price negotiated to 15 with the picture, and then the pressure gauge, once again 4 numbers, price negotiated to 15,000. And you can have rest of your terms, condition, tax details. So if you have multiple multiple terms and conditions, you can have a choice of selecting different terms and conditions. The standard is this format. If you have multiple formats for different kind of customers, they can always be customized. You can have multiple formats for multiple customers too. Now I come back to the opportunity screen. We started off from receiving an inquiry, and then we gave a quotation and finally negotiated the quotation and got it converted into an order. So you can see that I have my entire inquiry life cycle or opportunity life cycle managed in one screen. If there are multiple revisions for quotations given, then I can still have it in this one screen. So this is one screen where, with regards to one inquiry, I can get to see the entire historical data in terms of number of quotes submitted, number of orders submitted. So let's say that this inquiry has come to an end. So I go to the summary. I just say that I won this order, and since I have not lost it, I will delete the descriptions. And conversely, if you have won the order and you want to say what was the reason based on which you have won the order, those reasons can also be entered. So once I enter, I tick 1, I update it. You can see that the top end corner is converted into 100%, and then I update it. It will completely get grayed out and locked, which means that after this, I will not be able to make any changes to this particular inquiry. There you go. So this inquiry is completed. It will not be available as an open inquiry in my reports anymore. Now that I have shown you how an inquiry is created, and from an inquiry how a sales code is created, and from a sales code how a sales order is created, one thing that I wanted to let you know is, like these number dashboards like 147, 152. Now this shows the number of sale order which is created, not delivered. So if I click this 147, the latest order which I created will be available right at the bottom. This is the order that we very recently created. So you can see that it is available at the bottom. So this has the list of all the orders that has been created but not delivered or invoiced. So I can have like this numbers or open item list, which basically reminds me as a user of what is the pending items, what are the pending orders that I need to work upon. In this case, it's 147 orders that I need to work upon. Now let's go back to the sale order that we created. We go into the sales order, and you can see that this is the sales order that we have created. As you can see, for this particular sales order, I need to deliver 4 quantities each, but you can see that I don't have any stock. So SAP has the capability to show stock for a particular item in any of the transaction screen. Since I know that there's no stock available, I'm going to do a back-to-back purchase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a tick mark here, which allows me to create a purchase request or a purchase order right from my sale order screen. So you can see that it takes me to a wizard, and it is asking me to select the items for which I need to create a purchase request or a purchase order. Let's say I'm going to create a purchase request first. Add, and you can see that a purchase request has been created. The purchase request number is, here you go, I'm opening the purchase request. As you can see, the sale order is now converted into a purchase request, and the purchase request is 213. I just close this purchase request. Now the sales team can convert a sale order into purchase request, and the purchase people can basically move on from here. So I'm going to go to and the purchase team will also get a notification on their screen. So I'm going to go to the purchase request list. Now what you see on the screen is an open item list of purchase requests. Now these are all the requests where the sales team has requested the purchase department, or various requests has been created in the company. You can see that the most recent purchase request created is at the bottom, 213. I'm going to click it and open it. So let's say that I'm a purchasing person. So I get a notification on my screen. The notification basically comes in this window. So if there are notifications available, it will get populated in this window, and whenever there's a notification, it will open up right in the screen. And if the notifications are not red, it will be in red color. Supposing I try to open one of the notification, it will get converted into light red color. So you can see which are the notifications which I've opened and which are not. Alternatively, I also have a notification open, not open symbol on the right. You can see the envelope symbol here, which is basically whether I have opened the notification or not. So let's say that I received the notification. From the notification, I received this document, or I can go to my open item list, which can be configured in my dashboard. I can see. Now my job is to see what is this item, who should I buy it from. So if I have to look at it, I can just double click on the item. It takes me to the item master. So I go to the properties or remarks, and I can see what is the item. I know what the item is, and I can also go into the attachment where I can take the specifications, or if there's a list of customers whom I have to follow, all those things is available over here. So as a purchaser, I know whom to contact and how to contact. Now I'll convert this purchase request into purchase order. All I have to do is go down, copy the purchase request into purchase order. And you can see that my purchase request is converted into a purchase order, but the supplier is not finalized. So I can go ahead and choose the supplier if there's a default supplier. Or alternatively, if your company basically has an RFQ policy, a request for quote, where you send this detail to 4 or 5 suppliers, collect their quotes, compare the quote, and finally receive the purchase order. That is also standard available from SAP. So let's say that I finalized the vendor and I got this particular purchase order done. I can go ahead and add it. Once again, before adding, if there is and terms and conditions, I can go into accounting, and I can basically say what is the payment terms. And if there are any other mail communications which you want to attach with regards to this purchase order, like if the supplier has sent you a pro forma invoice and you want to attach that pro forma invoice, you can go ahead and attach in this particular screen. Now I go back, add this purchase order. So the purchase order is added. As I did in the sales quote and sales order, I can create a layout for this which can be sent to the supplier, or which can be mailed to the supplier, as I'm showing it over here in the screen. As you can see, the layout or the PDF of the purchase order is created. One thing that you can see in all the layouts or all the format is all they look like the same. So what we are doing over here is we are standardizing all layouts, might it be an invoice or a purchase order or a sale order or a sales quotation. We are trying to make it in the same format so that you have a standardized format across all the layouts in the company. So this can be mailed directly to the supplier. Let's say that I'm going to mail it to the supplier. It has gone to the supplier. One thing which I wanted to show you is I go back to my purchase request list, and you can see that the purchase request list doesn't have a 213. That is because 213 is now converted into a purchase order. So I switch purchase request to purchase order list on the top here. Now these are my list of purchase order released to the supplier, but still to be converted into a GRN or a GRPO. And I go to the last purchase order which was very recently created, and you can see that the purchase request details have been brought forward to the purchase order. Let's say that the purchase order is processed, the supplier has sent you the material, and I have received the material waiting at the gate. So all I have to do is go down here, copy the purchase order to GRPO, which is nothing but goods receipt against purchase order. So all my details from the purchase order will get copied to the GRPO. One thing that you will see is Once a transaction document is created, then you don't have to recreate it again and again. The details from one transaction document is getting converted or copied to the other. So in this purchase cycle, we created a purchase request which got converted into a purchase order. The purchase order is getting converted into a GRPO. Similarly, on the sales cycle, we saw that we created a sales quotation which got converted into a sales order. Moving forward, that is the same document which will get converted into an invoice. Now let's say that the GRPO has been done. So let's say we count the material, everything is fine. So one great thing that we wanted to explain you is once again the DMS functionality. You go to attachment. If there is an invoice hard copy or soft copy that the supplier has sent you, then those can be attached over here. So I'm going to randomly pick something and attach it here. Let's say that this is an invoice I've attached. I can double click. I've attached some random invoice here, but you can attach the exact invoice. So you can see that there's some random invoice we are attaching which has come from the supplier. So what happens is the respective invoices sent by the supplier are available with regards to that particular transaction. I can go ahead and add it. You remember we basically said that this is a serial number, batch number managed item. So when this pump is going to come in, the system is asking for a serial number. So whatever is a serial number that you want to allocate, you can do that. I'm going to very simply say sample 123. And if there's a different batch manufacturing serial number, you can even add that. I'm going to say manufacturing 123. And if there's in specific something like the warranty dates are applicable to a certain point of time, let's say expiry of the warranty is on a certain date, then you can enter that date. So you can have a warranty start date and you can have a warranty end date. I'm just going to enter both of these dates. Since there are 4 items and it's a serial number based, I'm going to create all the 4. So the next line item, the earlier one was for the pump which I had created 4 numbers. Now I'm going to create it for the pressure gauge. If the items are not serial number managed rather than batch number managed, we can say what is the batch size, and for that batch we can give one batch number. So this is a serial number, so everything has to have an individual serial number. We'll go ahead and update it now. I'm going to add it now. So you can see that the items which were available at the gate have been entered into my stock. If I go back to the list of purchase order and refresh it, the last purchase order is gone because that's been converted into a GRPO now. So I go to the open GRPO now, which is goods receipt against purchase order completed, and supplier invoice has not been created. And you can see that GRPO is available at the bottom of the list. So as soon as the GRPO is successfully made by a person in the warehouse or stores, there's a notification which will hit the finance guy screen. And as I told you before, this is how the notification looks like. So I had already shown this notification before. This is how it will look like. So based on this notification, the finance guy opens this document and now he can process this document, which is nothing but he can copy this document into an AP invoice, which is an accounts payable invoice. I can go ahead and before adding the AP invoice, since this is a financial document, I can always look into the attachment and to see if there's an invoice available. Yes, the invoice is available. I can check the invoice. If everything is proper, then I can convert this document into an AP invoice. Now, since I am from finance, I would want to see what would be the journal impact or what would be the journal posting. So even before doing a journal posting, I can right click on the screen and I can see what will be the journal entry preview. And it basically shows me what are the accounts which will be credited and what are the accounts which will be debited. Now everything is fine. So what I do is I go ahead and add this. So it's getting added. I go back to the AP invoice that I made. One excellent functionality which basically is available in SAP Business One is a relationship map or an audit trail. On any screen of SAP Business One, if I go in and I right click it, I have something called as a relationship map. which gives me the entire cycle of all the transactions that I have done until now. For example, I am in the accounts payable invoice, and this accounts payable invoice has come from this particular GRPO, and this GRPO has come from this purchase order, and this purchase order has come from this purchase request, and this purchase request has come from this sale order, and this sale order was created by the sales quote. And these two, sales quote and sale order, are linked to an inquiry or opportunity from this opportunity. As you can see, we have the entire audit trail of where it started and where it ended. And you can see that these are not just boxes. I can click on one of these boxes, like the sales order, and it takes me to the respective screen. I'll close it now. Each of these boxes do have something called as an attachment icon, which means that if I open the screen, there will be an attachment available. As you can see in the sale order, I have an attachment available. That's what being shown over here. And not only that, near that attachments icon, there is a lock screen, which means that the transaction is still open. So if the transaction has something which is yet to follow, it will be in open. Like on the top, you can see the purchase order is locked or purchase request is locked, which means that whatever had to come in that purchase order has come inside. That's why it's locked. And the last one, which is basically the AP invoice, you can see that it is showing in a different color, which is basically yellow color, which means that further transactions are yet to follow or needs to happen, and shows in red, which means that there's something pending. So what is this? Is a supplier invoice. If you receive the payment, if you give the payment for the supplier invoice to the supplier, this will get converted into a normal color and green. So let's do the supplier payment now. I go into the outgoing payment screen. I choose the vendor and the last payment. I make all the payments. So I have like 4 modes of payment. I can either make it as an bank transfer, or I can give a check, or I can pay through a credit card or cash. So I go by bank transfer. I put the value, I OK it, and then I go ahead and add it. So my payment is done now. I go back and refresh my screen here. And you can see the screen where it was red in color has now been converted into yellow, which means that the payment is made. And the next pop-up which basically comes up is an outgoing payment. So that's the most wonderful functionality that you have in SAP Business One, wherein you get the entire relationship map of audit trail. It at any point of time tells you what is the entire link chain, who did it, when they did it, and what were the items which are added, what were the items which are deleted. Everything is available in this particular relationship map. So what I do right now is, let's say that we have received the material, we are yet to deliver, which means that I go back to the sale order here, I click on it. Now you can see that I have the stock available. I have to deliver it to the vendor, I have to deliver it to the customer. I go ahead and copy the sale order to an invoice. It's getting copied into an invoice. So before I add, as this particular item is in serial number managed item, which means that if I go ahead and add it, the system will ask for what are the list of serial numbers which you want to pick. So I go ahead and add it. And you can see when I was inwarding the material, the system had asked for serial numbers. Similarly, when I am outwarding the material, the system is going to ask me which are the serial numbers which you want to pick. In this case, it's going to be pretty easy because there are only 4 serial numbers. I'm going to choose all the 4s and then go ahead and add it. And then for the second line item, once again, pick all the 4 serial numbers, go ahead and add it. And you can see that now the invoice remembers what are the serial numbers and the quantity which was picked for this particular invoice. I go ahead and add this invoice. Once this invoice is added, the layout gets generated, which will have all the details that I spoke. I'm going to quickly show you the layout here. As you can see, a very detailed invoice has been printed over here. Once again, you can customize it with your logo and stuff like that. What I'm trying to tell you here is I'll expand it. You can see that the invoice basically has the item description, whichever description you want, you can enter it, the quantity, the price, tax details, the picture of it. Not only that, very importantly, it has got all the serial number, manufacturing date, warranty date, start date, end date, everything it has got. You can see the serial numbers. Similarly, for the second item also, there are serial numbers and manufacturing start date, end date available. So in any case of manufacturing warranty getting void, all the customer has to do is pick the invoice and tell you the serial number, or just tell you the serial number, and you can identify which is the item and whether the manufacturing is void or not. We'll close it here. So I'll immediately go to the most favorite transaction, which is the relationship map. I right click here and go to the same old relationship map, and you can see that I have something new which has come up, which is the accounts payable invoice, accounts receivable invoice, which is from the sale order. It is at the bottom. You can see that the sales order now has grown into an accounts receivable invoice. So the accounts receivable invoice once again shows as red because we have invoiced the customer but not yet received the payment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an incoming payment. Go to the customer, ABC, choose the customer, and I'll just choose the last invoice. Let's say that the customer made the payment through a bank transfer. There you go. My payment is getting added. I go back to the accounts receivable invoice screen. I refresh. As you can see, my AR invoice has received the incoming payment, and that's why which was showing red in my previous screen has now been converted into yellow, and you can see that I have an incoming payment screen. So that's the complete order to cash and procure to pay cycle. What you see on the top, which is basically opportunity, quotation, sales order, AR invoice, and incoming payment, is order to cash cycle. And what you see at the bottom, which is basically purchase request, purchase order, goods received against purchase order, AP invoice, and outgoing payment, is my procure to pay cycle. You can see that for the entire transaction that we have spoken today, for engineering goods and spares, industrial spares trading, I have the entire order to cash cycle, audit trail, or relationship map available out of one single screen. That's totally out of the world. As I did explain the relationship map audit trail, which is one of the best functionalities, I also wanted to show you one more functionality, which is the gross profit analyzer. On any invoice screen, you can just right click and ask for the gross profit analysis, and the system will tell you how profitable you are with regards to that particular invoice. You can see the total profitability at the bottom, or if you want to see a line level profitability, you can see here profit percentage and profit value. You can even take it to a point where if the profit value dips below a certain point or is getting compromised below a certain level, let's say that the profit percentage that you have approved as a management is 30, and if it is 17%, you can even prevent the invoice from getting printed or getting added. That's the power that a system like SAP holds in controlling profitability. As you can see, I've explained the complete sales, purchase, and the inventory cycle. There are other functionalities available like the financials, which has got your entire journal entry, assets, chart of accounts, your financial statements, and a lot more, which definitely will show you in a different video. Following financials, minimize financials. நீங்கள் இதெல்லாம் எப்படி எடிட் பண்ண போறீங்கன்னு தெரியல, நான் சொன்னதெல்லாம் பார்த்துக்கிறீங்களா? அவன்கிட்டே உட்காருங்க. You also have banking, where you have incoming payments, deposits, outgoing payments, payment wizards, and stuff like that. Apart from that, you have MRP, which is nothing but material requirement planning. I just showed you one case where your sale order was converted into a purchase order. Supposing you have multiple sale orders for same or different items, for which you want to consolidate and generate a single purchase request or purchase order, even that can be done through to an MRP cycle. Or if you have anything as min-max stocks, and if the stock dips below the minimum level, you want an automatic PR to be generated, all that is taken care in the MRP. Apart from that, you also have a service cycle. So if you are providing service for all the items that you are selling to your customer, so you can have a service call, service ticketing, which is nothing but your after sales services. On top of it, you also have a project management module. So if you are doing any internal projects, or as part of your trading business, you also do small projects, you can also create project management, which has got a complete project management like MS Project. You have Gantt charts, you have work breakdown structures, you have phase-wise target, budgets, actuals, and more. On top of it, you also have reports. Multiple reports are available, approximately 200 odd reports are available, which are standard reports by modules. And finally, you also have an Excel reporters. The Excel reporter is a functionality which allows SAP B1 to be integrated with Excel. You can configure and set up SAP reports which can be generated in Excel. It's quite friendly integration that is available out of box. Now that you have seen SAP B1 in action for engineering goods and industrial spares industry, let me ask you this. How confident are you in your own processes? Are your stock levels accurate? Are you sure that you don't have any excess inventory? Do you at any point of time can tell what are the payments that needs to be made to the vendor? Do you at any point of time can create a report which says what are the list of opportunities which has been won, lost, and which is still open? Overwhelming, right? But these are something which we have shown currently in the SAP Business One demo. Now, to self-assess yourself or to find out by yourself that whether you are ready or whether you need a system like SAP Business One, we are going to give away a free self-evaluation Excel tool. Absolutely free. This tool should be worth anywhere around 50,000 rupees. We have put all our hard-learned experience in preparing this tool, which will take 10 to 15 minutes of your time to basically self-evaluate and help you understand how badly you require a system like SAP Business One, or you do not need a system like SAP Business One. Please comment tool and give us your mail ID, and we'll be more than happy to share that Excel tool with you. And if you want to take it further, please let us know for a one-on-one call with you. We'll be more than happy in understanding your business and getting to know your requirement, and we can do a one-on-one customized SAP Business One demo for your business to be run on SAP, which will show you how exactly your operation would run on a system like SAP. Just drop your mail ID below or send us a message, book a free call, a free no obligation call with our team. Hope this could be the most valuable 30 minutes that you would have spent for your business in this year. Look forward to meeting you with one more interesting video on SAP. Thank you.